This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Tele-Viper and Cobra Flight Pod, aka the Trubble Bubble. From what I've heard, Trubble Bubble was not originally the name of this item. I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently, from what I've heard, it was actually a fan name for this vehicle that Hasbro adopted, which apparently went better than when they tried to adopt a fan name for a certain My Little Pony character. And we got a picture of the Tele-Viper on the side. Some product renders, because I don't think these are actual product shots. And we have a QR code where you would scan it in to get some more information. Let's go ahead and open her up. Here we have the Tele-Viper and the Cobra Flight Pod inside the cardboard box. With what Hasbro's been doing lately, they've got a bit of artwork on the back that shows the Tele-Viper. I do actually really appreciate that artwork. Otherwise, to be honest, this packaging would be boring. I'm actually not a fan of the whole plastic-free packaging, since you don't really get to see what you're getting. And there are sometimes deco issues with them. So here we got our Tele-Viper. We'll turn around and cut off the stuff from the back on the flight pod. There's the flight pod in most of its glory. And we can't forget the additional box of tools and extras. And there goes the flight pod. Inside, they've got this separated to try to keep everything from shifting around and making a lot of annoying noise. Inside, here we have the propulsion unit for the Trubble Bubble. Which we can just attach onto the back like so. The little fans here move, which would be what would control its flight. And the other bag. You know, I'm half expecting to cut through something when I do that. We have more parts. Here we have the front gun for the Trubble Bubble, which we just attach to the ball joint on the front here. Like so. Which gives us that range of movement for when they attack. We have the extra heads for the Tele-Viper, a fully helmeted head. We have a black head, and we have the white head. It's kind of interesting to note is that the scowls are on opposite sides on the two heads. So it's not just a straight repaint of the other, which is kind of nice. Here we have the little, they call it a mine. I don't know. It doesn't actually, I couldn't find a spot to attach it on here. Which you would think maybe they would have had something there. The original toy of the Trubble Bubble also came with one of these, although I think it was like twice as big as the one that comes with the Classified series. So the smaller figures had a bigger mind, and the bigger figures have a smaller one. We can attempt to open up the control panel on it. They didn't do any kind of deco in there. I guess this is so that the Joes can attempt to disarm it. Because, disarming bombs is a really fun way to play. Let's go ahead and finish attaching the missiles to the Trubble Bubble. We got these little things, which I don't see anything that says right or left on them. Oh wait, there we go. I guess there is, just right in this little corner where you can see the side. They don't really like lock into place. They can easily be pulled out again. But that's the armature to hold the missiles. Which, let's be perfectly honest, if you're flying this thing in the air and you shoot those missiles, I imagine that that's not going to go well for your spot. You know, you probably end up like going whoosh. Anyway, let's take a better look at the detailing. The bubble cap raises and lowers so that you can get the figures in and out. The front also leans forward to give you the room to get the figure in. We have a 3-point harness with a lock in the middle. I think the old G.I. Joe figures, they just had the peg in the back that stuck into the figure. We've also got some nice deco on the inside of this for the controls, which, let's be perfectly honest, I'm not sure how they're supposed to see most of those when they're sitting in there. And we got some information here. Some more deco showing a little bit of detail. Cobra logo. Extensively, these are the this Trubble itself has shut down 3 Sky Strikers. We've got the danger hot exhaust warnings for back there in case you're too stupid to realize that hot stuff comes out of the back. Another Cobra logo. A mention of a fuse section for when you're replacing stuff. I'm not sure what the SB is supposed to stand for there. We'll set our flight pod. Oh. There is also this little bit of detailing here, which I guess would be like your targeting system for when the bubble is down over the pod and you're flying it. Take a look at the figure himself. He's got the standard articulation of the G.I. Joe figures, the butterfly joint, a full rotation and out, the bicep swivel, triple joint or double jointed elbows, triple jointed. I'd like to see a triple jointed elbow. Hands got the swivel and a little bit of wrist articulation there for front and back. Drop down hips to give you a little bit more posability. Raise up, around, swivel, back down. Double jointed knee again. We've got a really stiff foot on this figure. And I'm afraid I'll break it if I try to force that side. Let's see. We got a boot cut. We've got, here's the swivel on here. I cannot get this to do a front or back. I'm not sure if that's just because it's that stiff, or maybe that they didn't add that into this one. Nope. Does have the cut for it for sliding it. I am guessing that maybe it's the paint on here that's keeping it from being able to move properly. I'll have to try heating it up later. We have the equipment of this Techno backpack. Not sure what this gun is supposed to do. To me, this looks like it's supposed to be some kind of a sonic weapon, which might make a little bit of sense with the Tele-Vipers. But it does attach to the backpack. And we can even go ahead and, oops, set it up like a Ghostbusters backpack. See if we can fit it on there. Hmm. Maybe we can get him to actually hold the weapon in his hand. That's one issue with some of these like softer plastics being used for like the equipment, is sometimes it's hard to get it in place. I'd rather have the harder plastics used on the weapons and the softer plastics just on the fingers still. But here's our Tele-Viper holding his gun. Like I said, to me it looks like it should be some kind of a sonic weapon. Let's go ahead and swap out his head. This is one of those cases where I kind of wish I had gone ahead and ordered 3 of these so I could have the 3 different figures. But they are kind of expensive, and I didn't have the money for it. They are doing a redeco of this in the Tiger Force. Well, okay. For Cobra, it's the Python Patrol. So there will be a Python Patrol version released through Target. I did order 2 of those, but that's only because Target only allowed for 2. And then you could have ordered 3 on Hasbro Pulse, but I didn't get an order placed with them. So I guess I'll just get the 2 and hope maybe I can get a third one. But let's go ahead and stick our Tele-Viper into the flight pod. As mentioned before, we've got the 3-point harness. So we can sit his butt inside. And hopefully get the harness pinned in place. There we go. It's actually kind of loose. So we got the controls on the flight pod that he can hold on to. In theory. I like how they have the little like bike brakes on here. So now we have our Cobra Tele-Viper in the flight pod. Whoops, there goes the missile. Yeah, I don't know why they don't have this lock in place too. Like, it just seems kind of cheap. And I wonder if super glue would help. It's too bad he fell over before I even shot the missile. Look at that. The whole thing came up. The missile fits tighter on the strut for it than the strut holds onto the Trubble Bubble. Isn't that fun? Well, this concludes our look at the Cobra Trubble Bubble. Try saying that 10 times fast. Um, I hope you enjoyed this. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.